I'm getting pretty near the finish line on this corset. I started earlier today. It's a Sunday. Now it's 5:30 p.m. and all that's left to do is to sew it together and then put on the edging and put on the grommets. And I wanted to say, if this doesn't look very SPG to you, it's steampunk because it's beige and beige is steampunk. You just glue a gear to it. Just take some glue and a gear. No, just kidding. But it's steampunk. And if you wanted to make it row-buddy, you would use metallics. And then, before you sew the layers together, you could stitch some crazy junk on here. Maybe you could stitch some crazy junk on afterwards, like, I don't know, gears and wires and metal junk. Or you could just make it black and red if you wanted to be a Victorian automaton. Or you could use your imagination and do one of 500,000 other things with it. So here's the back. It's got the boning in it, so it's a little stiffer. It's got like about 4 layers of fabric with 4 layers of fabric and some interfacing, but they were all thin, so it's still thin enough to where I can put the grommets in here. It's going to be a real son of a gun putting the grommets through this mesh lace. Here's the 2 front pieces. I have to get all the pins out now. And when you go to wash this, you fill the sink full of lukewarm water, and you'll take your finished corset and put it in the bathroom sink that you have scrubbed out before you filled it with water, because otherwise you're going to get, a corset full of toothpaste residue or something like that. And then you swish it around in the warm water, and then you drain that water and put some cool water with no soap in it. When you wash it in water and dish soap, then you put it in some cool water with no soap and swish it around some more. And a lot of times the water turns gray, and then you let that run out, rinse it a few more times. Then you roll it up in a towel. You can't roll it this way because it has the poly boning. You roll it up this way in a towel. Then you can put the towel on the floor on top of other towels and stand on it, squish it, squish it, squish it, squish it, squish it. And the stepping on it really gets the water out. Then you hang it up on a hanger and let it drip dry. And if you remember, this is my Dolly Little Star 14R. Say hi to the people, Little Star. Hi to the people, Little Star. And I didn't make her a corset because it would be too tiny and intricate for people to be able to see how to make the corsets. But I'm going to be using her to make more clothes. I made her this dress. I put a demonstration on the internet. And at some point I'd like to get some silver fabric and make a people-sized dress like this, because these are really easy to make and they're really fun. And so everybody wave goodbye to Little Star 14R. Say goodbye. Bye, little people. And then about embellishment on a corset, you can do all kinds of things to embellish these. Like you can sew. One time I had beautiful, it was like weird, interesting looking burnished antique gold trimming, and I sewed it all the way around the edge of a corset. And I think that one was peacock blue, and I made a matching ruffly butt ruffle. I forgot what you call them. That's not characteristic of me. I used to know this stuff. Bustle. I made a matching bustle with tassels on it or something, and I sold it on eBay. But you could, for this one or for any Victorian corset, one of the things I like to do is put a little gold jewelry chain and then hang a watch or a fake watch face from there. I had some 80s earrings that looked like watches. You can put a little fake watch pocket by just sewing a piece of trimming on and then hanging a little watch from it. Or, I mean, you could sew clips on here and dangle a real antique watch from it if you have one. You can also just put other pieces of lace on here. You can sew antique lace around the edges. There's just about a million things you can do for trimming. So don't rule out the possibility of putting on trimming. But then once again, you want to use the think system when you're putting on trimming. And you want to think, do I put this on first or do I put this on last? Will my sewing machine sew through it? Will it come out looking funny? Just use your head on that one. It's not rocket science, it's just sewing some trimming. It's just sewing stuff to a thing. It's like either you can or you can't, either you will or you won't. There's not really that much I can say to you that's really going to make a huge difference about that. Sometimes it's just sheer force of will. You're going, I'm going to get this costume the way I want it. And you make yourself get the costume the way you want it. So I'm going to pause again. I'll be back later.